The other day, I had the misfortune to click on a Sci-Fi Dan video. He was reminiscing about his interaction with Flat Earth channels and wondering what happened to them.
His views seem to be going nowhere fast. Excellent news. But he hasn't released a video in over a year. More good news. And I haven't seen him on YouTube for years. Win! And Sleeping Warrior has very recently lost his channel. What an absolute shame that is, hey? You'll all be pleased to hear that his channel has finally been removed from YouTube. Another one in the YouTube graveyard, I'm afraid. His channel has now been completely removed. What a shame.
Taking pleasure from the demise of some channels is pretty low to say the least. He seemed genuinely disappointed that some channels, like us, have changed their content temporarily to cover the pandemic. So like the thoughtful person that I am, this video is dedicated to Dan, so he doesn't feel forgotten. Today we're going to look at the most quoted proof of the globe Earth. Ships disappearing over the horizon. As in horizontal, meaning straight and level, Dan.
If you actually go out to a lake, and there are boats on that lake, the farther away a boat is, the more the bottom of the boat will disappear, and you'll basically just see the mast of the boat. And as a boat goes farther and farther away, the last thing you will see is the very top of the mast of that boat. And that's because the boat is actually going over the horizon that's curved, that's curved, that's curved, that's curved.
Many experiments have been undertaken proving that it's perspective that makes the ships disappear and not curvature. In this video, we'll be looking at this from a different angle or perspective, and by using a different mode of transport, the aeroplane. That's plane, Dan, meaning straight and level. Imagine sitting on the seashore, looking out at the horizon and watching ships disappear over the non-existent curve. Then you look over your shoulder to see a plane coming from behind you, the long chemtrail stretching out behind it. That's chemtrail and not contrail, Dan. Chemtrail, contrail, chemtrail, contrail, chemtrail. How can this be if the plane is flying over a globe? Surely it has to follow the shape of the Earth below it, does it not, Dan? Simple answer, it's flying straight and level over a level surface. As the plane goes over your head and flies off into the distance, you can't help but notice that the chemtrail is straight from horizon to horizon. If one can witness a ship disappearing over the horizon at about 2 or 3 miles away, then surely one could see the chemtrail of a plane curve at 8 inches per mile squared, the same as the supposed curvature of the Earth. Unfortunately for Dan, this is not what we see. The chemtrails are long, straight and level, just like the surface of the Earth. Depending on the speed and distance from you, a plane can be visible for a good 5 minutes. At about 600 miles an hour, that plane would have travelled about 50 miles. That's more than 1,600 feet of curvature that should be visible by a curved chemtrail. If the curve of the Earth is apparent at just 2 or 3 miles away on the sea, then why is the same phenomena not visible at 50 miles in the sky? Is it refraction, Dan? That seems to be the stock answer for stuff that you can't explain. When can you see the chemtrail curve, Dan? When it's perpendicular to you? When it's parallel to you? Why do we see this when we should be seeing this? Evidence of curvature at 3 miles, but none at 50 miles.
Oh, great and wise NASA Oracle, Dildo Dan, please enlighten me.
I'll await your explanation with bated breath. I'm sure it's going to be a classic.